Welcome to the American Red Cross Hero Celebration. I'm Martha Bishop and pleased to be joined by Brian Axelson. We are honored to be with you all again this morning as we recognize those who are making an impact in our community. This event is an opportunity to recognize the good that constantly surrounds us in our area. I'd like to ask a few people to come to the stage for welcome remarks. Executive Director of the Red Cross, Susan Everett. Chair of the Red Cross Board of Directors, Chad Harbley, U.S. Representative Rick Allen, Mayor of Augusta, Hardy Davis Jr., and Chair, Columbia County Commissioners, Doug Duncan.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our 8th annual Heroes Breakfast. For more than 135 years, the American Red Cross has been alleviating suffering in the face of emergencies. And thank you so much to everyone here, our elected officials, our generous sponsors, our dedicated board of directors, and our inspiring volunteers for your support to us and enabling us to continue our mission. Our local Augusta chapter of the Red Cross has been serving our community for 102 years. And as many of you all are aware, we recently lost our longtime former executive director, Mrs. Carolyn Mond. I want to recognize members of Carolyn's family and her friends who are with us this morning. As yet another wonderful connection to this event, their grandson is a former recipient of a Red Cross Hero Award. So thank you all for being here. You know, Peter Stropel said that legacy is not leaving something for people, is leaving something in people. And I don't think there's a better way to describe the legacy of Carolyn Mond. On behalf of our hundreds of Red Cross volunteers and our board of directors, both past and present, we really want to take this moment to honor the life and legacy of Carolyn. So if you'd please allow us to enjoy a moment of silence for Carolyn Mond. Thank you all. Now, from what I know about Carolyn, and especially during her 20-year tenure as Executive Director of the Red Cross, she would be very disappointed in me if I did not direct your attention to the Sound the Alarm page in the program with instructions on how to text to give today. And there are also donation cards at your table, and our board members will be at the registration desk to take them after the program. Did I do that okay, Tim and Mark? Okay, good. And I also want to take a minute to give my sincere thanks to our incredible Heroes Breakfast Board Committee, led this year by Blair Marvin, who worked so hard to make this event a success. So now it's my pleasure to welcome to the podium the chair of our board of directors, Chad Harbley.
Thank you. It's been my great honor to serve as the chair of the Red Cross Board of Directors this year and see up close how the Red Cross provides so many support to so many people in so many ways. By responding to disasters big and small, providing 24-hour support to members of the military, veterans, and their families at home and abroad, collecting and distributing about 40% of the nation's blood supply, training millions of people in first aid, CPR, and other life-saving skills, helping millions of people around the world through disaster management and disease prevention activities. The need to help people is constant, and this past year, busy disaster activity was no exception. This past year, more than 11,500 Red Cross volunteers left their own homes to provide comfort, care, and a safe place to sleep for tens of thousands affected by disasters. Just like our Red Cross volunteers, the heroes we honor today are ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Speaking of Red Cross volunteers, please join me in welcoming one of our former Red Cross Board Chairs, Representative Rick Allen.
Well, it was Carolyn Mond that got me involved in the Red Cross, and in fact, a little more involved than I had planned on being involved. I was actually the chapter chair for a couple of years, and I tell you what, Carolyn will get the most out of people of anybody I've ever seen in my life. In fact, I thought the Red Cross was my full-time job and the construction business was just a hobby. But it was fun. It's amazing. You know, when we look at this country and people ask, you know, what makes this country what it is? And and I'm looking into the faces of what makes this country what it is today. It's the fact that one is that the greatest love that we can offer another is to help them, even at the risk of our own lives. And we see that in our military, our first responders, and all those that are gathered here today. That is what separates this country from every other country on the face of the earth. We must never lose that. Because I'm telling you, my dad told me one time, I asked him why he was so involved, and he went through the Great Depression and World War II, and he said, son, apathy is the enemy of freedom. So remember that, because you need to pass that along. We cannot lose what we have here today. Thank you, heroes, for all that you do. Obviously, the Red Cross mission is to help alleviate suffering in the face of emergencies, and of course, I would just, you know, with our president, I have to watch the news every morning because the narrative changes every morning. So I was up early watching the news to find out what happened last night, and you know, it's just horrible. These tornadoes just ripped through Kansas and other areas. So we're seeing it just everywhere, devastation. And I know you've been busy. You have certainly fulfilled that mission. In October, our Red Cross opened shelters for those escaping the path of Hurricane Michael. When Michael ended up impacting Florida and our southern counties and Georgia more, our Red Cross sent staff and volunteers there to help. Susan Everett, our executive director here, left the comfort of her own home here in Augusta and was deployed for 4 weeks in the field, helping others during Hurricane Michael and Hurricane Florence. This past January, when the train carrying hazardous material wrecked in Bartow, Georgia, our Red Cross was there opening a shelter in Louisville for the citywide evacuation. In addition to these large-scale disasters, our Red Cross helps alleviate suffering and teaches us to be better prepared for emergencies here every single day. This past year, our local Red Cross has taught almost 1,400 first aid CPR classes, assisted over 300 families with disaster relief, provided almost 1,200 case services to our local members of the armed forces, and taught emergency preparedness to over 500 children. Can we ask all of our volunteers who did this work to stand, and let's give them a round of applause. Please stand and let's give you a round of applause. Everyone that, all of our volunteers. Thank you. I am very proud to be a member of this community. I am deeply honored to represent you, and I look forward to telling these incredible stories about the work that you're doing here. And please know that I'm there for you. If there's anything we can do for you to help, we'll be there for you. Thank you very much.
On Monday, a grateful nation took occasion to remember, to reflect, and once again memorialize heroes from previous generations, those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Today we find ourselves at the 8th annual Heroes Breakfast and an opportunity to recognize local heroes who have sacrificed time and time again to meet the needs of a community just like ours. And that community consists of multiple counties and jurisdictions of those individuals who are in this room. The Red Cross's mission to help alleviate suffering in the face of emergencies, they do this while mobilizing volunteers who, again, do this without any desire to be recognized. As you noticed, most of them would not stand. But they do it because of a willingness to give of themselves, to give of their time, their talent, and their treasure. And we're here to applaud those efforts, to recognize those efforts, just as we did on this past Monday. Our local Red Cross covers 15 counties in Georgia with only a small staff of 4. However, they enlist a tremendous volunteer army of over 400 local community members to ensure that they fulfill their mission. I've been in office 5 years now, and it seems like we've had a hurricane at least mentioned, Susan, coming to Augusta, or at a minimum, sending people from the coast in Savannah to Augusta. And I will tell those of you in this room, that work to house at a minimum 2,200 individuals almost every year could not have happened without the Red Cross. You're to be applauded for those efforts because you gave people shelter. Thank you so much. These dedicated volunteers serve in every line of the Red Cross, from humanitarian services to disaster relief, to teaching and training emergency preparedness classes, to assisting in blood drives, to serving our members of the armed forces and their families. And once again, thank you so much for your service in helping that area. Each year, these amazing Red Cross volunteers provide an average of over 50,000 volunteer hours in our local community, to include many of the students who make up our local schools. And to those young leaders that are here this morning, congratulations and thank you for your service and commitment to someone other than yourselves. I'm proud to support the Red Cross and all of the volunteers who are true heroes. Thank you so much for what you do, and God bless you this morning.
Mark, Mr. Mon, I'm guessing at years, but I'm thinking about 25 years ago, Miss Carolyn called me and set an appointment, and she came in and she convinced me that we needed to sponsor, I think it was the Boot Scoot Boogie. I think that's what it was. At any rate, she continued for 3 or 4 or 5 years to convince me that I had no choice but to sponsor. And so, very fond memories. She was a great lady, and I know that you're very proud of her. You know, the Red Cross mission is to help alleviate suffering in the face of emergencies with a lot of families. And I believe our local chapter has succeeded in that greatly this past year. You know, many people think about the Red Cross as hurricanes and the tornadoes and such, but really where the Red Cross spends most of its efforts and times is with house fires. And a lot of folks may not realize, but nationally, the Red Cross addressed over 50,000 house fires last year and set up help for over 76,000 families. So that's where the rubber meets the road for the Red Cross. Now, locally, last year, the local Red Cross group responded to over 300 house fires. That surprised me when they told me that. I did not realize we had that many here. At any rate, it's a big initiative. They work with over 15 counties to provide free smoke alarms. And I know that that's a nationwide effort. Over in South Carolina, they do the same thing. So, at any rate, last time I checked, about 1,400 were installed free. And I know we work with the various fire departments. So, Columbia County is very proud to support the Red Cross and very proud to support the efforts. And we're just thankful that you allow us to be a part, and thank you for what you do for our community. Thank you.
Now for our invocation, please welcome Dr. Will Dyer, Senior Pastor of this beautiful First Baptist Church of Augusta.
Well, good morning, everyone. On behalf of the First Baptist Church, I want to say thank you for being here. Before we go on, I'd like to give a round of applause to our amazing kitchen staff here at First Baptist Church. Let's take a moment now. Let's pray together. Oh God, we are so incredibly grateful for this day. We are grateful for the food that we have eaten, God, but most importantly, we are grateful for these men and women that we will celebrate today, for these community heroes. God, as we hear their stories, may they inspire us to go out into the world and work for truth and for beauty and for the common good. God, we are grateful for the Red Cross and all the work that they do across the CSRA and around the world. Would you be with us today as we celebrate? This is our prayer, and we ask it in your name. Amen.
So we'll begin today by extending our thanks to the folks at Savannah River Nuclear Solutions for generously sponsoring today's breakfast. For so many years, SRNS has been a significant contributor to the American Red Cross, ensuring that help reaches those most in need. Would our friends from SRNS please stand to be recognized right now, please? Thank y'all so much. And now Mr. Lee Schiffer, Director of Savannah River Nuclear Solutions, Safeguards, Security, and Emergency Services, is going to say a few words for us.
Good morning, and welcome again to the 8th Annual American Red Cross Heroes Award. SRNS is proud to lend its support recognizing these fantastic people. This is really one of the coolest things we get to do all year, and that's handing out the awards, definitely not standing up here in front of all you all. Anyway, at SRS, we have a safety legacy that we strive to protect. We talk about safety at work, we talk about safety at home, we encourage volunteerism, we strive to promote a compassionate workforce, those that look out for their fellow human beings. After reviewing the recipients of today's awards, all of them, I'm so fortunate, proud, rather humbled to be living in a community where we have the spirit of compassion and the willingness for people to work for each other, to look out for each other. It's truly impressive. And I think as we go through all the presentations today, you all will be humbled also. So from the SRNS team, I really want to thank the American Red Cross, all the heroes in the crowd and the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lee. Today we gather to share the touching stories of our local heroes right here in this room and in our community. They have enriched our community with their selfless acts of courage and compassion. Now, each story that you're going to hear this morning testifies to the fact that the humanitarian spirit is alive and well and thriving right here in the Augusta area. The heroes that you're going to meet this morning are a picture of the principles which have led and guided the American Red Cross in our community for over 100 years, alleviating suffering in the face of emergencies.
If you would please stand us and join for the presentation of colors by Evans High School JROTC. After the presentation of the flags, we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing until the color guard has left the room. I pledge of allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order! Aye! Colors reversed! March! Color guard! Halt! Halt! Colors reversed! March! Forward! March!
You may be seated. Before we go any further, we would like to recognize the incredible work of an exceptional group, our Red Cross Youth Board. These students pledged to raise funds for Red Cross home fire prevention campaign called Sound the Alarm, Save a Life. Their challenging work, creativity, and dedication to raising funds has been inspiring, and it will make a significant difference to our community. Our top individual fundraisers were Mac Burns, Lakeside High School, $6,200. And if you're here, please stand. Grant Stokes, Davidson Fine Arts, $1,481. Natalie Badir, Lakeside High School, $1,147. Mackenzie Horn, Lakeside High School, $1,135. And Austin Joshua, Lakeside High School, $1,105. Our top team fundraiser, Team Mac, Deanya, and Bianca with $9,200. The total raised by the Youth Board and the Sound the Alarm campaign was over $49,000. Thank you to, yes. Thank you to all of the Youth Board teams for their hard work and dedication to the Red Cross mission. We also want to show our appreciation for the many volunteers and board members of the Red Cross who give us so much of their time and energy. Would all of the Youth Red Cross board volunteers and board members please stand to be recognized?
Thank y'all so much for everything that you do. Now, whether it's here, at home, or at work, people at home experience life-threatening emergencies every single day, and they're counting on us to be ready to help. I strongly encourage everybody in this room to get trained and make a difference, just like the lifesavers that you're about to hear from today. Here today is David Fitz with American Red Cross Training Services, who can answer any questions and help arrange for you or your company to be Red Cross trained. He will be at the registration desk when the program concludes today. Now, the people you're about to hear from are American Red Cross heroes, because when presented with an extraordinary situation, they responded with extraordinary effort.
Presenting the Good Samaritan Award is Beretta Kraft Kaufman, Vice President of Non-Physician Providers at the Joseph M. Still Burns Center at Doctors Hospital. Beretta, look a little different today. How about Chad? We'll take you on up here. Chad Jordan, thanks for joining us.
Yes, I'm not Beretta, but Beretta had something come up at the hospital. But it's not about who's presenting these awards. It's the individuals who actually are receiving them that's more important. So with that, I'm pleased to present the Good Samaritan Award to Mr. Greg Henry.
I'm a Richmond County bus driver for special need. As I was driving off my last kid, I decided to go at the front entrance instead of the back entrance. I guess that's a spiritual thing that led me that way. Something just told me to go this out of the front entrance way. And when I did, I seen this gentleman laying in this driveway. I said, this gentleman probably done collapsed. Let me stop and help him. And I got there and I seen him. When I approached him, I looked, I seen a lot of blood gushing out of his face. And I was like, oh Lord, he's bleeding too bad. I got to stop this bleeding. I told my attendant to bring me all the paper towels that she had in there. And she did, and I got over there. I asked him how he was doing. I asked him what his name. He told me his name was Homer. I said, can I help you? He said, yes. He said, please help me. He said, I can't breathe. So I looked at his nose and I seen the blood was running down to his nose. And I'm like, wow, I got to stop this here. So I got applied pressure. I remember that in CPR, applied pressure. It so happened Mr. Homer touched me on my hand and he showed me his bracelet. I noticed his bracelet was a medical bracelet and I pressed it and it sounded off an alarm in the house. His wife come out. And so I told him he all right, but he's bleeding bad. I said, I'm gonna stop the bleeding for him. And I stayed down there until the paramedic got there. Well, she told me this quilt was handmade. She said that she was gonna hold this quilt. Whoever she gives it is gonna be special. And the day I came in and saved her husband, she said, I know who I'm gonna get this quilt to. Made by Jacqueline Armitage. Thanks to Gregory Henry for being a caring person who stopped up to help my husband, Homer, who had fallen in the yard. He stayed with him until ambulance came, April 11, 2018.
Please join me in congratulating Greg Henry, who truly embodies what it means to be a good Samaritan.
Presenting the Outdoor Rescue Award on behalf of Zaxby's is Chad Harpley, Chair of the Red Cross Board of Directors.
I'm pleased to present the Outdoor Rescue Award to Tim Shinowich. Join me in congratulating Tim for using his CPR and first aid skills to help save the life of another in need.
Just before the accident, I had my grandson out in the front yard. And all of a sudden I start hearing screeching. And I see this Explorer coming down their driveway. And then it continues to go and it crashes into the house across the street. Start walking up, and I get about a house and a half up, and all of a sudden I notice this guy laying down on the side of the road. I'm not a current EMT now, but I still keep an EMT bag with supplies in it. I start evaluating the man laying on the road, and I find out that he's got a huge gash in his forehead. I start, bandaging it, trying to stop the bleeding. At this time, my son's there, the wife's there, his son's there, the police get there. All of a sudden, he starts to regain consciousness. He starts to get combative. So I've got the police officer, my son, his son, trying to hold him down for me to stop the bleeding. Then all of a sudden, his son tells me that he's on blood thinners. So now, I know I've got to get the blood stopped, because if I don't, he's not going to live. I finally get the blood stopped. I'm trying to yell his name, trying to get him to kind of understand me. Gold Cross comes up then. Got the blood stopped. He's still not really aware of what's going on. We get him, I help Red Cross get him on the backboard, get him in the ambulance, and then he goes ahead and leaves for the hospital. I was in the military from 83 to 86. In the latter part of 83, I was at Fort Gordon, and my father had throat cancer, and he went to the hospital. Well, being in the service, you don't get paid that much money. So I went to the Red Cross to see if I can get an airline ticket to get to the hospital to visit my father. And they actually provided an airline ticket for me. I was able to go see my father and spend some time with him before he passed. So I really appreciate the Red Cross for that.
Again, join me in congratulating Tim for using his CPR and first aid skills to help save the life of another in need. Tim, thank you. And how do you pronounce your last name?
Sienowitz.
I was close.
You were close.
Presenting the Disaster Relief Award is Jay Forrester, Regional President of South State Bank.
I'm pleased to present the Disaster Relief Award to Alex Webb.
When Hurricane Florence was coming, wanted to go help. I had the time, and my mom gave us some gas money. We went to Lumberton because you watch the news, Facebook, whatever. That seemed to be the most impacted area. We took a 18-foot airboat, 20 cases of water, whatever camp food, whatever food my mom had in her pantry, every fuel can we could find. We ended up actually taking over in Lumberton, there was a laundromat. We were all kind of just camped out there. We kind of had posted our numbers some places and put some feelers out there, hey, if you decide you want to leave, here's a way to contact us, let us know. Lumberton, we pulled lots of people and dogs from, it was a trailer park that they didn't have the means to go, they had nowhere to go. Also, a lot of people up there thought they survived Matthew and they had a better chance, and it was bad. We had a family that they thought they were high enough, and by the time the water got in their living room, they decided they wanted to go. We ended up launching the boat in the middle of the interstate and had to run the boat. And the benefit of an airboat is you can run it on asphalt, which is interesting. But, and so we were able to get those guys out. We were able to get quite a few people out. Then there was a family that also refused to leave, but they had a small child. We were taking them supplies. On our second trip, that's what we were on our way to Wilmington. Couldn't get through the roads. We had launched the boat multiple times, couldn't get the truck over there. We actually ended up in White Lake, North Carolina. And then we paired up with Kelly Fire Department, and all their levee systems, the dams were failing. The levee structure that was protecting the town gave way as we were coming by it. That's a wild ride. Don't go surfing on an airboat. It was amazing to see the people that, not the people that were impacted, the people that showed up to help, people that you really never would have seen that from. I have the time, I don't have the money to do things. I have the time to be away, and I'm fortunate to have a job and family and a girlfriend that understand. I don't see it as a hero. I see it as I liked water and boats.
Because of your willingness to go where help was needed, you saved a lot of people. Please join me in congratulating Alex.
Presenting the Medical Hero Award is Joe Fierst, Resident Mill Manager, Augusta Graphic Packaging International.
I am pleased to present the Medical Hero Award to Dr. Jasmine Lachlan.
So I was heading home from work at Augusta University, and it was pouring down raining, and about 2 or 3 minutes from the hospital, there was a really bad car accident. So at that point, I parked my car out of the way, and I went to see what was going on. Made sure the area was safe, just because the cars were badly damaged. Both cars were really badly damaged. And it was pouring down raining, so it was kind of hard to, figure out, what was going on. There were 2 cars involved in the incident, and I went to assess the first car, and then a lady in scrubs came to me at the other car and asked me if I could go check on another passenger in another car. And so I went to that car and assessed that passenger, and that's where I pretty much ended up staying throughout the incident. We kind of sat tight until the emergency personnel were able to come, and they eventually, and what happened is we ended up kind of being in the car to kind of stabilize the patient, and then the emergency personnel, when they came, they got in the car as well with me and assisted me, because they ended up having to take the door off. Emergency personnel, they were able to get everybody, out, and then they took them to the Level 1 Trauma Center, Augusta University, for further care. So I think being CPR and first aid trained can be invaluable, depending on, you never know what situation you will be in, and it can come in handy for multiple situations. You never know, there may be an accident, you may have a family member at home, you'll have that skill so you can assist when needed.
Join me in congratulating Jasmine for her willingness to use her medical skills in a critical situation involving multiple people.
Presenting the Fire Rescue Hero Award is Patrick Sutter, Director of Managed Care for MCBS, and Collins Lee of Publix.
I am pleased to present the Fire Rescue Hero Award to the Waynesboro Fire Department.
We immediately got a tone out for a structure fire with a family inside. The neighbors were trying to get out. And as we were responding to the call, the police department informed us that they're not waking up and they're not coming out of the house, and the house is continuing to burn.
Waynesboro Police Department, they were on scene first. They can maneuver pretty quick throughout the city, so they were trying to kick down the door. Our partner, Patrick, he went and got the Halligan tool, a sledgehammer that we used to breach the door. And basically, that's what we did.
As we made entry, we could see the smoke layering inside. We immediately was yelling, "Hey, fire department, get out, your house is burning, get out, your house is burning." And I went in and turned left and went all the way to the back bedroom to do a sweep, basically from one end of the house to the other. And I opened the back bedroom door, and there were 3 kids still sleeping, and the mother was in a corner. Seemed to be scared of what's going on, why is my door being kicked in, but at the same time we were yelling, "Your house is on fire, it's the fire department. We need you out now."
You figure with all the sirens and noise and kicking on the door that they would get up, but once we opened the door, one of the, I guess it might have been the father, he got up and he was kind of like shocked, and we were just telling him, "Hey, your house is on fire." If I'm not mistaken, I think there were 8 individuals in the house, so we got them all safe, and for us, that's the best outcome.
A working smoke alarm will and is proven to save lives.
Join me in thanking the Waynesboro Fire Department for their brave actions in helping save the lives of 8 people.
Presenting the Animal Rescue Hero Award is Tony Bernados, president of the Augusta Chronicle, and Courtney Prouty of Mass Media Marketing.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to present the 2019 Animal Rescue Award to Martha Ann Tudor.
My specialty are taking animals that have been deemed less adoptable because they're older, they're deaf, they're blind, they have mange, they're shy, they don't show well in a kennel, and pulling them out and telling their individual stories in ways that resonate with people and connect with people. A lot of times the people that adopt these animals tell me they weren't even looking for a pet. They just connected eyes through a photo that was shared on social media and read a story that lodged in their heart in a way where they just suddenly felt like they couldn't live without this animal. So Lexi's a perfect example of one of the dogs that had odds stacked against her even more than most because she's almost 9 years old. So it was hard for an older dog to compete with young fluffy puppies. Throughout the years, simply by sharing posts on my own personal social media, there have been homes found for about 400 animals. There's a power in that, and we hear a lot about the negative power, but there's a real positive power to social media, and that's just a perfect example of somebody who did a little bit and persisted. And these posts has kind of amazed all of us. Some of them get shared thousands of times. I have inquiries reach out from other countries, from places all over the world. We had a lady fly over 1,000 miles to get a one-eyed dog with mange and buckshot and heartworms. But we've had people come from Colorado, from Texas, from Michigan, just to get dogs that we have posted. It's just been a really great niche for me to fill, and it's something that has given me back so much more than I could ever have gotten any other way. I mean, it's so much more than I ever put into it. It's a real thrill for me.
Through her rescue efforts, Martha Ann has touched countless lives, both of animals and also of people. Please join us in thanking Martha Ann for helping to rescue and save the lives of over 400 animals. Presenting the Military Hero Award is Chris O'Kelly, Operations Manager of Beasley Media Group of Augusta, and Scott Elledge, Director of Digital Journalism and Content at WJBF.
On behalf of the
Beasley Media Broadcast Group and WJBF News Channel 6. I am pleased to present the Military Hero Award to Marvin Harris.
Me and my buddy both want to do medical missionary work, and we're both doing doctor shadowing at through the Red Cross at Fort Gordon. And so on the way home, we were driving, and it was pretty close to my neighborhood, and there was just a massive, massive amount of smoke. There were two of us. Colin probably would have gone in. He was actually blocking the street and knew a fireman would come, and he drove down and then jogged back. It was a relatively small house. But probably like the right half of it was burning, and there were no firemen there, which is what really, got us like, okay, keep going, go around the corner. So we went, and I had him pull up, and I hopped out of the car, and there were a couple of an elderly couple on the porch, and I was like, hey, is anyone in there? And they were like, yeah. The guy said his mother was in there and the caregiver. So I took probably no more than 2 or 3 steps, and it was a trailer and it was going this way. I could see the caregiver, and she was like, come on. But the lady just couldn't. She was on a walker. She was really up there. They had told me there was a propane tank, and they think that's where the fire was coming from, and I just happened to have just taken a lab safety course, and I was a chemistry minor and seen a propane tank explode in the video. I was like, we really don't want to be near that. Eventually, I was like, would you like me to carry you? And eventually, I just wound up carrying her to the end of the street. Policemen, I think, arrived just before the firemen. They said, the fire truck's going to move here. Can you guys move? And then we, started the caregiver was like, could you carry her again? I was like, yes, I can. No one was hurt. They did say the propane tank was the start of the fire, and they got there fast enough to put it out. I'm actually a veteran, and I think maybe, I didn't even deploy. I think maybe the training desensitizes you a little bit. We're not the first or second or 10th car that saw the problem. People just didn't go. And what kills me is I don't necessarily expect everyone to say, I'm going to go in that burning building. But I do, it would be nice if people at least called the fire department. The difference in 5 minutes could have been the difference in a life. I called the Red Cross and got their information. Red Cross has reached out to them, I understand, to see what they can do to help. I also put them in touch with my church.
It's been an honor this morning getting to know Marvin and his family, and I would invite you now to join me in congratulating Marvin on his quick actions resulting in saving at least 2 local lives, and that's what our heroes are all about.
Here to present the EMT Award, please welcome back Lee Schiffer, Director of Savannah River Nuclear Solutions, Safeguards, Security, and Emergency Services.
So I'm pleased to present the EMT Award to the Esterness Fire Station Team Number 1.
So we were toned out for a person in a car that was having an allergic reaction. We started towards the trucks to go get in the truck to respond. A car had pulled up on the front pad, and a gentleman had got out of the driver's seat and came to the door and said, hey, my passenger has ate something and is now having an allergic reaction.
She is prescribed an EpiPen but did not have one at the time. So that was kind of what led up to the severity of it.
We came together as a team. One of the guys ran and got the bag off the truck for me. So quickly got her assessed, saw that we needed to put her on some oxygen, place her on a non-rebreather, started high flow oxygen, and since she had already taken the Benadryl, my next step as a paramedic was to give her epinephrine.
I was the driver that day, so Foster and the medic jumped in the back of the ambulance and I drove.
Us being there, I think, perfect timing, really. So I think we made a big difference.
I think everybody should have CPR training, basic first aid training, because you never know what situation you might come up on.
Absolutely, I think CPR would have been pertinent, even on this call. The young lady in question was in very bad shape. Probably without drug intervention within the next 5 to 6 minutes, I would care to say that they would definitely be doing CPR.
I don't feel like a hero, but it makes us feel good to get recognized for the job that we do and the effort that we do.
So please join me in congratulating SRNS Fire Station Number 1 for their quick action, skills, and teamwork used to save the life of another.
Presenting the Good Samaritan Youth Hero Award is Brian Mosbaugh of John Deere.
It's my pleasure to present the award for the Good Samaritan Youth Hero Award to Roman McCon.
Project Freedom Ride got started from me basically wanting to get donations to help dogs. We started this so we could help dogs from staying in the shelter and spending their entire life there. It's important to help dogs that are in shelters because they have a very, very high need. The more south you go, the higher the euthanasia rates get. And we started helping for my 4th birthday. Instead of presents from friends, I wanted donations, and we got $200 or so. And then I thought that was pretty cool that we got that much money to donate to the local shelter. When we moved to Washington, we got our first PFR transport with 31 dogs. A PFR transport is when we transport a bunch of dogs from shelters in Texas, and now we transport from Georgia to like the Northeast and stuff, and then they usually get adopted. My mom thought PFR would just be like a one-time thing, like a once-in-a-lifetime thing, but it's way more than that. Right now we're doing over 100 dogs a month. We do it to help dogs from getting euthanized and from staying in the shelter forever, and from bouncing in and out of a home forever, because that can get pretty sad for a dog, because eventually it'll get euthanized. Being on the Ellen Show was crazy. It was an amazing experience. Ellen was super nice, and it was just amazing. And the 20,000 check that I got helped lots of dogs. So if people want to donate, they can look up our PFR Facebook page, and there should be like a blue or something donate button, and that would be super helpful.
After all the applause, Roman has helped to save around 1,500 dogs. It just goes to show that you can be a hero at any age. So thank you, Roman, for your inspiration.
I think I speak for all of us in this room when I say I love that kid. What an incredible group of heroes we've heard from this morning. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors and guests for being here. How great it is to start your day with such inspiring stories of heroism, service, and bravery. On behalf of our neighbors that'll need Red Cross services, I would like to say thank you for your support. Your support allows our Red Cross to alleviate human suffering right here in our community and all over the world. Many of the people that you have met today are clearly heroes, yet I would challenge you to realize that each of us can be a hero to someone today through getting trained in CPR and first aid, volunteering, or making a financial contribution.
We are very grateful for your support of all of those recognized this morning and for supporting the Augusta area chapter of the American Red Cross. Congratulations again to all of our heroes. Before we adjourn, please stand as we retire the colors. The heroes would please stay to have your picture taken. The rest of you have a fantastic morning.